WWL Louisiana News at 6 begins with breaking news.
I was so overwhelmed that we would elect a pope from America.
I was eating, I'm like, well, this is my first bite of the first second of me. This is my feast of having a pope, a new pope.
I love that. Reactions from local Catholics, young and old, about the excitement they felt when they heard the Pope will be an American for the first time in history. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Cherise Gibson. So after just 2 days, Cardinal Robert Prevost was elected as the new head of the Catholic Church. He has taken the name Pope Leo XIV, and he was born in Chicago, but has spent decades serving in Peru. He's a member of the Augustinian order and has spent some time overseeing the appointment of bishops around the world. Archbishop Gregory Amen says the first American pope will be a point of pride for us, but also help attract more people to the church.
I think it's going to be an opportunity for him, being an American, to be able to attract people from the United States to a deeper understanding. I think that he will be listened to quicker than others who are from other cultures. And I think that people will be able to say, in a good sense, he's one of us.
Pope Leo XIV's first words to the world were, "Peace be with you."
Well, here's a live look right now at the St. Louis Cathedral, where local Catholics are planning to celebrate the new Pope tomorrow. A massive Thanksgiving for Pope Leo XIV will take place at noon. All are invited to attend. And if an American Pope wasn't exciting enough, we are now learning he has New Orleans ties. Lily Cummings joining us now live outside of St. Louis Cathedral, breaking down the history. Lily, I was shocked to hear this one.
Cherise, so were the genealogists down the street at the historic New Orleans collection. They say as soon as this pontiff was named, they started to dig into that research, and they were shocked by what they found. Take a look at some of the records that they showed us this afternoon. They show that his maternal grandparents were Creole. They lived in a home that was taken when the Claiborne Overpass was built in the 7th Ward. The couple was married at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart on Annette Street, and the documents researchers found show that the Pope's mother was the first of her siblings to be born in Chicago after the family relocated between 1910 and 1912. The genealogist says the cardinal's name, Robert Prevost, was the first hint to start digging.
And with a name like Prevost, I honestly thought that there would be maybe French-Canadian or maybe even Acadian ancestry, but I had no clue that it would be a very recent New Orleans connection.
And that researcher tells us that he plans to dig even deeper past just the grandparents that he found here in New Orleans to see how deep those ties are. More on this tonight at 10. Reporting live from the French Quarter, Lily Cummings, WWL Louisiana.
All right, thanks so much, Lily. It's amazing to have that personal connection. We're getting more insight into the Vatican electing Pope Leo XIV. I am joined by Father John Cunningham of Loyola University. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Were you surprised when you saw who walked out on that balcony?
I was very surprised. It's interesting in these elections, they have a series of people they put forward, but he was not on the list that I saw. And in regard to an American, they were talking about Archbishop or Cardinal Tobin, who was in Newark as a possibility, but not this Pope.
Not this Pope,
not this
yes,
Pope.
and this is who it is.
Yes.
It sounds like he really does want to carry on, the previous Pope's legacy. Is that what you're understanding?
Yeah,
from
it's
his
interesting.
past?
You could see a lot of parallels with him. It's interesting. He's an Augustinian priest. Francis was a Jesuit. A lot of international experience. We're happy, we're at Loyola University. It turns out that the Pope graduated, is a graduate of Catholic University Villanova, which is outside Philadelphia. And I guess that perspective as a religious order priest and the international perspective just makes him the choice.
For people who don't know, what does that mean to be of the Augustinian order?
So in the Catholic Church, we have a series of religious orders. Catholic priests tend to be what we call secular, which are like the diocesan priests that serve a lot of the parishes in New Orleans. Order priests are like the Jesuits. We have schools. The Augustinians are very similar to us. They operate schools, high schools, parishes, and also missionaries, so they're involved in different parts of the world.
When you look at the previous Pope Leo was known as the social Pope.
Yes.
That is an indicator that that is something that he may carry on.
Yeah.
Taking on some of those serious social issues
Yes.
that the Catholic Church is facing.
Yes. So, Pope Leo XIII, his predecessor, which was the last, he was in the later part of the 19th century, is famous for his encyclical Rerum Novarum, which basically means on new things. But it was an assessment and an understanding of how the Industrial Revolution was going to be affecting humanity. So there's an interesting piece here. We'll hear why he chose that name eventually, but some speculation is just we're in a different era in the world these days, and maybe we kind of have to assess that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that Pope Francis, held very dear to his heart. Some liked it, some didn't like
Right.
it. Where do you think that we're going to see him fall on the spectrum of conservative versus not?
Yeah, so they're saying already, he's clearly doctrinally a moderate, if not a conservative, but then we're for social justice very much on the open side, open liberal side. And I think that's just from his experience of working with the poor in Peru. It's just a different society. That's the beauty of the Catholic Church, is it is universal. It's all over the world. And so there's just different people have different values and interests and important parts of their life that have to be understood.
And what do you think it means for America to have a presence at the Vatican?
I think, it's interesting for me because they were saying, we'll never have a Jesuit Pope. We have a Jesuit Pope. And they also were saying, we'll never have an American. Now we have an American. And I do think, in my life as a Jesuit, we've traveled all over the world. I meet Jesuits from other parts of the world. There is a respect for this country, really, and how the Church operates here, and our training and our dealing with a complex culture of immigrants. So I think that's something to celebrate.
He's also going to have to navigate the finances at the Vatican,
Yes.
the sexual abuse scandal that has
Yes.
rocked the Church all over
Yes.
the world.
Yes.
So those things I think everyone's going to be watching.
Yes.
And when we talk about this Pope, no one does a surprise better than the Catholic Church. I mean, that was a moment today.
Yes, yes.
What was that like for you?
Well, it was funny. We were having a Zoom meeting at Loyola. A bunch of us were going through a mission priority. It's basically a review of our mission at the university. And a series of people, and one of the people said, "This might smoke." And so then it was interesting too. I had Mass at 12:30, and I had to hold it till he came out, but he didn't have a chance to speak. I had to run over to Mass. But it's just exciting. It was fun.
It was so fun. All right, Father Cunningham, thanks so much for being with us. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate your insight. And we're, of
Thank
course,
you.
going to have more coverage on the election of Pope Leo later tonight. You can stream our newscast live and on demand on WWO+. All you have to do is just download the app on your smart TV and watch it right there for free.